Hey guys, and welcome back to This Week in STEM with me, Steph. This is the first video that's actually a video, so yay! What is my first story this week? Well, it is by far the most important scientific and mathematical discovery of our day. Somebody has finally figured out the most efficient way to find where's Waldo. I know this sounds crazy, but it's a legit thing that somebody did. Bill S. Olson, a computer scientist, has determined the most efficient way to find Waldo. How did he do it? By going through the 7 different books and figuring out the 68 different locations on each page and compiling that data. His original approach involved using what's called the traveling salesman problem. This is a combinational optimization problem commonly used in theoretical computer science. It involves using a given list of cities and the distances between each pair of cities to determine the shortest route to travel to each of the cities once and then return to the original city. However, Olson figured out that this wasn't the most efficient way, especially considering his possibilities numbered more than the atoms in the universe. And even if he had 8.25 million cores from the 10 most powerful supercomputers in the world, he figured out that it would take magnitudes longer than the age of the universe to figure this out. Instead, he decided to use a genetic algorithm or search algorithm, which in computer science is frequently used when you have to do a large complex amount of number crunching very quickly, but you don't need it to be as precise. And here's what he found. And if you guys want to find out more about Randall Olson, I'll link to his website down below. You can check out his methods that he used to come up with the Waldo stuff. Big news out of the UK this week since the House of Commons voted to legalize the use of donor mitochondrial DNA during in vitro fertilization. Essentially, this gives children 3 genetic parents, and this process looks a little something like this.
This first method is called embryo repair. It involves removing the nucleus of the donor's mitochondria and replacing it with a nucleus from the embryo. The second method is egg repair. It's very similar to embryo repair, but the nucleus from the mother's egg is replaced instead.
So why is this a big deal? Well, mitochondria, for those of you who didn't take honors biology with Mr. LaFrault in freshman year, mitochondria are essentially the powerhouses of the cell, generating energy in the form of ATP. Mitochondria also replicate independently, essentially forming their own genome. This becomes a problem since mitochondrial DNA can mutate rapidly on its own, leading to such diseases as those of the heart, of the brain, of the respiratory system. The Wellcome Center for Mitochondrial Research at Newcastle University in the United Kingdom had this to say on the matter.
Nuclear DNA is not altered, and so mitochondrial donation will not affect the child's appearance, personality, or any other features that make a person unique. It will simply allow the mitochondria to function normally and the child to be free of mitochondrial DNA disease. The healthy mitochondria will also be passed on to any children of women born using the technique.
According to their research team, who were recently published in the New England Journal of Medicine, 2,500 women of childbearing age in the United Kingdom are at risk of transmitting mitochondrial-based diseases. This equates to about 152 births a year. In the United States, 12,400 women are at risk, which equates to about 778 births per year. But it's important not to get too excited yet. While this measure has passed in the House of Commons, it still has to go through the House of Lords. But if it does pass, it could start a domino effect. In fact, in Australia, a discussion has already started about this practice. However, it's still highly discouraged in the United States and is banned worldwide everywhere else. Babies make me stressed, and you know what else? So do bees. Apparently everywhere, beehives are collapsing due to stress. While entomologists are still hotly debating exactly what factors cause stress, a new article published on NBC.com this week discussed the fact that most of the stress is felt in the younger generations of bees, who feel pressured to go out and find food at such a young age. To which I replied, bees, do you have student loans? Get it together, man. Go find your food. Speaking of things that swarm, it's time to move on to tech news. Why the swarm transition? Well, Justin Atchison, a senior aerospace engineer at Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Laboratory, has proposed an idea that would utilize a swarm of dozens of nanoprobes in order to investigate the characteristics of asteroids. Justin's swarm flyby gravimetry idea was recently awarded a Phase 1 grant by a NASA program. His idea will provide a cheap, fast way of studying asteroids using a swarm of small nanoprobes that will surround the asteroid and feed data back to a larger probe stationed further away. This idea is still in development, but we look forward to hearing about your different techniques, and good luck, Justin, we salute you. Up next, do you ever wonder what you can do with all that fishing line you got laying around? Well, apparently, you can make muscle that's 100 times stronger than your actual regular meat muscle. A team of material scientists at the University of Texas in Dallas have found that by twisting the line a certain way, you can create springy, energy-dense coils that can be used to create artificial muscle. And it's so easy that they're letting high schoolers do it for them. Well, this method is very cheap, it's very inefficient, and they are working on that. So look forward to that in the future. Muscles made out of fishing line. And finally, a news that'll have Marvel fans everywhere squeam with delight. DARPA is working on that Iron Man suit that we've been begging for so long. It just completed phase 1 testing where they tested individual components both in a laboratory setting and in an outdoor setting. Phase 2 will consist of more integrated testing where they'll start putting joints together. This suit, worn under a soldier's uniform, is supposed to enable he or she to carry 100 plus pounds without damaging their joints or backs, which has been experienced in the field before. So the Iron Man suit is happening. Your move, Elon Musk. And now to things that Elon Musk actually has done this week. No offense, I'm just kidding. I love what you're doing. You're awesome. Stay awesome. The DSCOVR mission finally launched Wednesday afternoon on board a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. The launch had already been scrubbed twice this week, once due to radar issues on Sunday, and once due to high altitude winds on Tuesday. Unfortunately, due to a large storm in the landing zone that was causing 30-foot high waves, SpaceX was unable to attempt a hard landing of its reusable Stage 1 rocket on board its drone ship. So what exactly is DSCOVR? Well, DSCOVR is an acronym. It stands for Deep Space Climate Observatory. The DSCOVR mission is a partnership between NASA, the United States Air Force, and NOAA. DSCOVR was originally conceptualized in 1998 by then Vice President Al Gore as a way to view and study the Earth. From its L1 orbit, DSCOVR will give us 15 to 60 minutes of warning when a coronal mass ejection or solar storm is inbound, giving us time to prepare and shut down equipment that may be damaged by the storm. For those of you that didn't know, the particles in solar storms cause a lot of problems. They damage satellites, disrupt power grids, knock out GPS, communications, and they're expensive too. In fact, the National Academies estimates that a large storm can cause $1 to $2 trillion of damage and take 4 to 10 years to recover. The data gathered by DSCOVR may help us be able to forecast these solar storms, and it also achieves Al Gore's original goal of being able to view Earth. So what exactly is on DSCOVR? Well, the components include the following.
Long story short, these instruments are used to gather data on the solar winds and their magnetic field. There's also some pretty fancy-schmancy imaging equipment for imaging the Earth, just like Al Gore wanted.
It's going to take DSCOVR approximately 115 days to travel the 1 million miles to the L1 Lagrangian point. Why is this significant? The L1 Lagrangian point is an optimal place for DSCOVR to hang out because it's a gravity-neutral point between the Earth and the Sun. Additionally, it gives us about 60 minutes warning every time a coronal mass ejection comes from the Sun. After the launch of DSCOVR, Al Gore had this to say on his blog.
It was inspiring to witness the launch of the Deep Space Climate Observatory. DSCOVR has embarked on its mission to further our understanding of Earth and enable citizens and scientists alike to better understand the reality of the climate crisis and envision its solutions. DSCOVR will also give us a wonderful opportunity to see the beauty and fragility of our planet and, in doing so, remind us of the duty to protect our only home.
There were also some really cool videos of the launch. I'll link to some of those down below, including SpaceX's thruster camera, which looks like you're traveling through a wormhole and is really cool. So that's it, guys. That's a wrap on the first show. I hope you liked it. If you're interested in this kind of stuff, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. If you liked the video, give it a big ol' honkin' thumbs up. If you guys have any really cool STEM stories in the following week that you want me to cover, please feel free to send them to me. I'm always looking for stuff to cover. And with that, I will leave you with the coolest picture I have ever seen. You may be awesome, but you will never be this awesome.
Nope, nobody will ever be cooler than astronauts dressed up as Jedi, and nobody can convince me otherwise.
I can do this. Combinational optimization problem.
Need some booze in that, mate. Calm me down.
Should have had a mimosa. Turd monkeys! I gotta deliver this joke. It's a funny joke. I think it's funny. Probably not really funny, but you know. Farting noises. Dirty word. Profanity. Annoyed. Okay.
Car alarm.
Oh God, really? On their characteristics and gravity. I just made up a word. Shoot. Mass ejection or solar storm. So close. I nailed it. I nailed that one. Okay.